Welcome to Graphic Organizers Galore. Let's talk about how you can copy and customize any of these graphic organizers using the master slide. This will help keep those oopsies of accidental deletions limited. It won't prevent them completely, but it will limit. The first one I want to talk about is this with the 3 circles, this Venn diagram. It's a pretty traditional graphic organizer and can be used for a great number of content areas and items. Let's select everything, and I do that just by clicking and dragging on top. I'm going to copy it, and let's say I want to put it into a new Google slide. The first thing to pay attention to is that the dimensions of Graphic Organizers Galore is different from this brand new Google slide deck. That's okay, we can always adjust. You could go ahead and go to File, Page Setup, and adjust it here. I'm going to show you what happens if you choose not to. I recommend building a graphic organizer using the Slide Master to limit the oopsies of accidental deletions. It's also a great way to be able to bring back the basics. Find Slide in your toolbar, go down to Edit Master, and check out all of the layouts that come predetermined with your Google Slide. This is a great area to become more comfortable with, and I hope this is a great step. The key thing to note is these gold outlines. If you have multiple slides out here, any of them that have the same gold outline as a layout that you have chosen tells you that that particular slide is using that particular layout. So notice this one has a gold outline and I'm looking at this layout. That means that anything I do to this slide will be affected out on this side. Copying over my graphic organizer, I'm going to work on the second layout. Notice none of my slides have a gold ring around it. So I'm good to go and I won't impact any of the slides that I previously have created. I like to start working with a blank slate. And since I copied it from Graphic Organizers Galore, all I have to do now is paste it. Now notice it's much larger than the actual slide and this thumbnail confirms that. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down. I like to hold my Shift key, grab from one of the corners, and shrink it down. Then I like to drag it back up onto my slide, and using my red guidelines, I like to try to find the halfway point, both vertically and horizontally. That looks good. Now you've just created a master slide for this slide deck. Let's see what that really means. You've got 3 circles, you have a title box, and you have the space for 3 items as text boxes. Let's go back out to the presentation and let's insert that slide. I love the little thumbnail previews that you get. I know that that's the slide I was working on, so I'm going to click on it and it inserts it. Voila, there you go. I have my 3 circles. Oh, but notice none of them are clickable. I have my 3 item text boxes. Bummer, none of them are clickable. Neither is my title. That's because you've inserted it on the Slide Master. We can fix this. Go back to your slide, Edit Master, and you can do a couple of things. You could simply delete it. And notice out here you can see that it deleted the text box. If you already know what you want this to be, you could go ahead and type it in for your students. And then they can't delete that. So they know that this circle right here has to be for Washington. Or the other option you can do is use the text box and use a placeholder. I like to choose the body text because it doesn't take up as much space. adjust it to where you want the size to be, and just ignore this other stuff that kind of dangles down here. Let's jump back out to the slide and notice it appears to be a text box. It is, but it doesn't have just a blank space there. It does allow anyone to come in and click and begin to type. Now notice that I can still move this around. I can even delete it if I chose to. Having already filled in for my students, they can't delete Washington. Now the cool part is if you insert it as a placeholder and you need to make it go back to the original, you can always just reinsert the same slide and everything appears as how you had it on the master. Any adjustments, colors, text, inclusions, or deletions that you want, make sure that you do it on the slide master and it gets reflected out here. Notice now how this one has got a gold ring around it, as do these two slides. So if I make changes to this layout, it will impact both of these slides. For example, I delete that circle, it deletes on both slides. The Slide Master is a fantastic tool to become more comfortable with, and I hope that this helps. It's definitely tech you can do.